Hey, welcome back to Postal Barbecue. I'm Jabin Postal, and today at the grill, we're making a delicious barbecue rotisserie chicken that's absolutely phenomenal. It's juicy, it's flavorful, it's absolutely delicious, and I know you're gonna love it. Now, other than that, let's get into the cook. As I said, welcome back to Postal Barbecue. I appreciate you being here. Today at the grill, I have these about 2.5 pound whole chickens, and what I'm gonna be doing today with them is I'm gonna be putting them into the rotisserie. If you've never done rotisserie chicken or rotisserie style cooking, it's a lot of fun because it breaks the norm, it changes things up a little bit, and it's just, you're left with an incredible result every time. The chicken is juicy, it's classic, it's barbecue, it's all things delicious, and best of all, when you do it on a rotisserie on a kettle, you can fit 2 or even 3 chickens onto your rotisserie, which means you can meal prep, you can make for a lot of people, and it's just a great way to cook. And so, like I said, these are 2.5 pound chickens. They did come with the legs tied up already, and that's perfect. I don't want to remove that. If anything, I want to keep it as whole as possible just to make it a little bit easier. This is one of those cooks that's perfect for after work because it doesn't take a lot of time and the prep is so simple. And so to prepare these, all I'm going to do is I'm going to first of all hit it with this garlic infused olive oil. And just gonna put a little bit of this onto the outside surface, and this is gonna allow my rub to stick to it a little bit more. You don't have to do this if your chicken is still a little bit hydrated from in the package, but this is just gonna add a little bit of extra garlic flavor to this cook. So if you did want to inject it with some butter or even some garlic infused butter, go for it. It's just going to add a little bit of hydration into the breast portion, but with a rotisserie, it's going to come out really juicy anyways. And so to season it today, I'm going to be using my original rub. If you have been following along, you know I have the chicken rub, and today I want that bit of barbecue sweetness. This is sort of what you get when you go to the grocery store and you get the rotisserie chicken from the grocery store. It's more similar to that, and so that's the flavor that I want today. And so I'm just going to apply a generous coating of this barbecue rub to the outside surface. Get it into that bit of crack of the leg. There we go. We don't want to miss any of the sections here. Get that wing. And I'm even going to put a little bit on the inside if I can access it. There we go. Do the next one. All right, there we go. And so the next step to this is I'm gonna get it onto my rotisserie spit here. And so first of all, I'm just gonna take this and put it through all the cavity. You can see how it goes nice and easy on there. And then I'm gonna grab my clamp and I'm gonna place this in. There we go, I'm gonna tighten that up. You wanna get it good and tight so it's nice and secure. And then with my second one, I prefer to butt the breast up to the leg quarter, so I'm going to place this in this way. And you can see how it kind of holds itself in place. Grab my next one, get that on there as well. And then I'm going to make sure this is nice and tight. There we go. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit the top again with a little bit of that barbecue rub just to recoat some of those spots that I took off with my gloves. You can see that the preparation wasn't very long, as well as it wasn't that challenging to actually put together. And so with it all prepared, I'm going to go ahead and get the slow and sear kettle set up for cooking around 300 degrees. So to set up the grill today, I filled up the slow and sear basket about halfway with some lump charcoal and got that mostly lit, followed by closing the lid to allow it to come up to around 300 degrees. All right, now that my grill is sitting around 300 degrees, the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my meter probe that's from the block here, and I'm going to place it into the chicken breast, just like that. I do the same thing on this side. There we go. And one of the reasons why I love to use the wireless probes like this one is because there's no cables in the way. So as the rotisserie is spinning, you can still monitor the internal temperature of the chicken as well as the ambient temperature of the grill. And so you know exactly what you're cooking at and what you're cooking to. And now with everything ready, I'm going to get it into the rotisserie. And then last, I'm gonna add in a little bit of apple wood for some smoky flavor. And then I'm gonna press my button to turn the rotisserie on. And just look at that. Like I said, this is a really fun way to cook because it's a little bit different than how you might be used to cooking. And so with that all on, I'm gonna get my lid back on this grill. And for this cook today, I'm looking for an internal temperature in the breast portion around 160, so it rests up to about 165. And then in the leg portions, 175 plus is my preferred. And so anywhere between 175, 185, that's totally great. And so we'll come back when we start reaching those temperatures. All right, so I've been cooking for about 1 hour and 25 minutes now, and my thermometer has just notified me that the one bird is sitting around 163 degrees while the other one's about 160. And so I'm gonna open up the lid and I'm gonna probe it just to double check those internal temperatures to make sure that we've got that safe temperature of around 160, 165 degrees. And so let's open up and take a look. All right, guys, just take a look at that. You can see they look phenomenal. The color is really great. So I'm gonna just turn this off for a second. And I'm gonna grab my digital thermometer. I'm gonna just probe the breast portion. Got 160 in the breast, and the thigh portion. Got 168. Let's check the other one. 164 in the breast. And in the thigh, 169 in the thigh as well. And so with both of these chickens done, I'm gonna remove it from the grill and let it rest for about 5 to 10 minutes before we cut into it and get ready for the taste test. All right, it only took about 1.5 hours to cook both of these birds using the rotisserie. They're incredibly juicy. You can already see that there's a lot of the juices are already coming out of the as it's resting, and as that moisture that's inside there's just sort of distributing throughout the whole bird. And so let's go ahead and cut open the breast as well as the thigh and just give it a taste and see how juicy and delicious it actually is. Let's start with the leg quarter. We'll get that cut out. Go, then we'll get the breast. There we go. Just look at all the juices on this cutting board. It's absolutely phenomenal. And so I'm going to slice this into some pieces. So I'm going to grab this piece right here and just look at how juicy this is. Oh, it's phenomenal. It's not dry whatsoever. Let's go for the taste. That's good stuff. You get that classic barbecue chicken flavor. It's a bit spicy, a bit sweet, a bit smoky, and absolutely dripping with juices. This is phenomenally cooked. Let's go for a taste test of the quarter. I'm speechless, guys. That's so good. You know, if you're eating it just like this, you're gonna be blown away with the flavor because it's so good. But I did make a sauce to drizzle on top, and what it is 1 part mayonnaise, 1 part pickle brine juice. Then I put a little bit of barbecue rub. I used the original, a little bit of Dijon, and a little bit of hot sauce, all of those just to taste, and the pickle brine just to thin it down to the consistency that I want. And so I'm gonna just drizzle that on top. So it's a little bit like a white sauce. So let's go for the taste of that now. Oh my goodness. Whew. That's phenomenal. You know, this might be one of those chickens that can't be beat. It's so good. So that's how you make the most delicious barbecue chicken using the rotisserie. It's smoky, it's juicy, it's absolutely delicious, and I know you're gonna love it. And so until next time, keep that fire lit and get cooking. Hey, welcome back to Postal Barbecue. I'm Jabin Postal, and today at the grill, we're going to be smoking up a delicious bone-in pork loin and topping it with an amazing spicy garlic butter that's absolutely phenomenal. This recipe is juicy, smoky, absolutely delicious, and so you're going to want to give it a try for sure. Now, other than that, let's get into the cook. As I said, welcome back to Postal Barbecue. I appreciate you being here. Today at the grill, I'm gonna be cooking up this amazing bone-in pork loin. And if you know me, if you've been following the channel for a while, you know I really love pork loin. And it's been so long since I've done a bone-in pork loin. And you know, when it comes to cooks like this is one of those recipes that is simple to do, doesn't cost a lot, and it's gonna be a great feast item for, you know, maybe upcoming holidays or a family feast. You know, it doesn't really matter. Every time you cook a bone-in pork loin, is going to be phenomenal. And so this bone-in pork loin is about 3 pounds. You can see that there's a little bit of bone still in there, and the butcher did sort of take it back from the meat a little bit, giving a nice presentation. So to prepare this bone-in pork loin, I'm going to start by applying a little bit of hot sauce as a binder for the rub, and this is going to add a little bit of extra flavor, a little bit of extra spice, and it's going to go really well with this pork loin, especially with this butter garlic sauce that I'm going to be making to drizzle over this at the very end. We'll flip it over and make sure we get it rubbed on all the different sides, and go ahead and use your favorite hot sauce. There we go. And so today I'm going to be seasoning it with my Postal Barbecue Original Rub. There's some sweetness in there, some pepper, a little bit of heat as well, but it goes really amazing on pork. And so let's load this up. I'm going to start on the side. Get that on there, then just liberally coat this pork loin in that rub. And guys, go ahead and use your favorite barbecue rub. You don't have to use this one, but I do recommend something that has a little bit of that sweetness in there to really complement that pork. All right, there we go. So with this pork loin all seasoned and ready to go, let me show you how I'm going to set up the slow and sear kettle for cooking around 250 to 275 degrees. So to set up our grill today, I placed in about 12 briquettes into the corner of the slow and sear. Once my coals were fully lit, I then filled up the remainder of the slow and sear. I then closed the lid and let our temperatures come up to around 250 to 275 degrees. All right, so now that my kettle grill is up to temperature, the only thing left to do is to add in my digital thermometer. And so today I'm gonna be using the meter, and this is gonna slide in right into the middle, just like that. Let's go ahead and get this roast onto the grill. And then to add a little bit of smoky flavor, I'm going to add on a piece of apple wood. This apple goes really well with pork, so just place that directly over those coals. And then I'm going to close up that lid. And like I said, today I'm going to be cooking this roast between 250 and 275 degrees, which is really great temperature when you're smoking a pork loin like this. Also, to go along with this pork roast today, I'm going to be making a delicious spicy garlic butter sauce that we're going to just drizzle on at the very end. All right, I've been cooking this pork loin for just over 2 hours, and it's been rock steady around 250 degrees with that apple wood, providing a lot of great smoky flavor to this. It smells phenomenal back here. But before I make this spicy garlic butter to drizzle on top, let me just show you what it looks like. Guys, let's look at that. You can see there's some really nice color going on with this roast. There's a little bit of pooling in there. I'm just gonna dump that off quickly and let it continue to cook like normal. So let's close this back up and get making this spicy garlic butter. And so to start with, I have a half a cup of butter, and this is just 1 stick of salted butter. You can use unsalted if you like, but I like that little bit of extra saltiness when it comes to pork loin. Got that. We're gonna also throw in 2 cloves of really finely minced garlic. Essentially, this is garlic I just minced down into more of a fine paste. And then to the garlic and that butter, I'm going to add in some of that original rub. This is going to add a little bit of extra flavor, especially with that sweetness that I'm looking for. And so I'm going to place in, you know, about a tablespoon or so of that. And then to that, I have 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. This is going to add that bit of kick that I'm looking for. There we go. I'm just going to mix this together a little bit, just get it all over that butter. All right, there we go. So I'm gonna get this butter onto the grill. I'm gonna place it just on the edge of those coals so that the butter starts to melt and just starts to pull out the flavor of that garlic and all the spices and that cayenne, really just blending all those flavors really well. When it comes to the pork loin, I have about 20 minutes left according to my meter thermometer app. And so I'm gonna let it just continue to ride until we get to that 140 degree temperature before I come back and take a look at it. It's now been 2 hours and 45 minutes since I first put this pork loin into the kettle grill. Also, the butter that I placed in there, I did open the lid partway through and just give it a stir just to make sure it's melting properly and get all those spices and the garlic just mixed around really well. And so the pork loin is now sitting at around 140 degrees internal temperature. And so let me open up the grill and show you what it looks like. Guys, just take a look at that. It's got incredible color on the outside. You can really see how that smoke and the meat are interacting really well. You can see that the butter is melted down nicely. And so I'm gonna place that onto the outside and just get a nice layer of this butter coating the top. There we go. Guys, this smells so good. You can really smell that butter. As soon as it hit the meat, just the fragrance of it just exploded. And so what I'm gonna do with the roast all done, I'm gonna remove it from the grill, let it rest for a few minutes, and then we'll get ready for the taste test. All right, guys, this is always one of my favorite moments, the taste test. I did let the roast rest for about 10, 12 minutes just to allow the heat and the juices just to distribute throughout the roast because it is a larger cut of meat. And so let's cut into it and see how we did. And so I'm just gonna slice it into about 1 inch thick steaks right in between the bone. So let's start here. Oh, it's incredibly juicy. Just look at that. Guys, this is absolutely juicy. Just take a look at the board. This is without any of that butter. This is just the juices from within that roast. And so what I'm gonna do before I go for the taste is I'm gonna take some of this warmed butter and just drizzle it all over. And it's gonna go all in between those chops that I made. Okay guys, I'm really excited about this. Let's go for this piece right here. This is calling my name. And let's just look at that. Oh my goodness. I don't even know how to eat this. Oh, so let's go for a bite and see how it is. Oh my goodness. It's tender, juicy. The flavor just pops. It's incredible. Guys, this pork loin is so juicy. My board can't even keep up with all the juices that's coming off the side. It's everywhere. This is exactly what you want to see when it comes time to cooking a pork loin. The flavor is phenomenal. First of all, you're hit with, obviously that spicy garlic butter, and then you get that sweetness and the smoke and the juiciness that's in the roast from cooking it on the kettle grill. This is why a pork loin is one of my favorite cuts, because when you cook it right, the flavor is out of this world. It's juicy, it's tender. There's so much stuff that I could say about a cut like this. So if you've never tried cooking a pork loin roast like this on a kettle grill or really on any type of smoker, make sure to give it a try because it comes out perfect every time. It's tender, it's juicy, smoky, and delicious, and the flavor really can't be beaten. So let me go for another taste. Oh my. So that's how you make that incredibly juicy bone-in pork loin for your next feast night. You're gonna love it for sure. And so until next time, keep the fire lit and get cooking.